Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to this week's edition of the Petty and Informed podcast, where we venture out petty informed opinions about a variety of subjects. Joining me, as always, Tom and Nikki. Tom and Nikki, how are you?
I feel like that was a dig on me.
that
I'm
wasn't quite
good. How
delivered
are you?
with your usual level of enthusiasm, Richard.
I'm totally fine, except for the fact that I spent all day sleeping. I'm now exhausted for some reason.
I haven't spent all day sleeping. Thank you very much. I've been up since like 5 o'clock this morning.
No one mentioned you. Jeez, get over yourself.
No, you knew exactly what you were doing.
Nuh-uh. I was just introducing the show.
Mm-hmm.
That's what was happening there. I mean, come on, Nikki. I wasn't making fun of you or anything.
I'm just a little bit tired, y'all.
She's a bit tired, despite the fact she's been sleeping all day.
I'm not.
Thoughts and prayers to Nikki, everyone.
Two in the thoughts, one in the prayers, y'all.
Aren't you the one who just said you were sleeping all day, Richard?
Oh my God. Oh Jesus. Somebody. Yeah. Okay, I was using sarcasm, Tom.
Well, I'm not supposed. How am I supposed to know that? I haven't a bloody clue what's going on around me ever. Once I was being mugged and I didn't know what was going on around me. That's a true story. I'll tell you what happened. I'll tell you honestly. I'm notorious for not knowing what's going on around me. I was in a Camden Town High Street. It's probably about 1996 or something like that. So yeah, 30 years ago. I'm 16, and these guys stopped me and said, "Excuse me, mate. Have you got the time?" I went, "Oh yeah, it's 6:30." He went, "Oh right. You got a fag?" I went, "Oh no, sorry, I don't smoke." And next thing I know, I felt someone pulling me by the hood into the kebab shop behind me, and I was like, and then I looked around and it was my friends, and they'd all gone into the kebab shop and pulled me in. I'm like, "What's going on?" And they went, "We're getting some food." I went, "Oh, all right." I went, "Okay, can I have a small doner, please, with chili sauce and salad?" Yeah, and I said, "What are we doing?" He goes, "We're sitting down here and eating it." I went, "Oh, all right." Then I sat down, and I was the only one with any food. I'm like, "Why am I the only one eating? Guys, what's going on here? What's going on? What's going on?" And my mate Dave goes to me, "Tom, they were trying to mug you." I'm like, "What? Really? Shit? Serious?" And they're like, "Yes, you fucking donut." I'm like, "Oh, okay."
They asked you the time, they asked you for a fag, and that translates to a mugging.
Well, I think they all collectively read the room or the pavement far better than I did.
I've only been mugged one time in my life, and they only nicked my McDonald's.
I've never been mugged.
Nicked
and I live in the much more. I live in the much more scary part.
It's worse than that. I had my rent in my back pocket, and they just took my bloody McDonald's. I was actually quite happy about that. I was like, "Oh, yeah, take it."
Could have been far worse, could it?
Yeah, exactly.
Quality. That's hilarious. Well, so I've not been. Both my wife and I haven't been in the best of health in the past week, and yeah, I don't often get sick, but I had 3 days off of work, not last week, but the week before, and I had the Wednesday, Thursday, Friday off, and that was a bit meh. And then I had, and then I think I must have given my lurg to Hannah because she was off sick. Well, not off sick. She works from home. She was pretty laid up and not very well for a lot of this week. We just managed to successfully go to the cinema to see the new Bridget Jones film, which was
why
it was really good, man. Honestly.
No, it's not. I'm sure the movie might have been good, but every time you watch a reboot or a sequel to an old film, you are encouraging them.
What, instead of getting them to make original cinema?
Yes, instead of getting them to make new original IPs, you're encouraging them to keep rolling out this slop content Right, I see what you're doing in the chat, and you can all piss off. Pandas are the worst. Okay, that's it. Final statement on pandas. They're the worst. All right, and yeah, they're these. It's just reboots and sequels to old films. It's not good. It's not right. I mean, we're not just paying Hollywood to sit around and R-word each other. Okay, I mean that is
I
part
mean,
of the
we
job
are.
description.
We are paying.
But they
them to
might
do
as
that.
well make some bloody original contact while they're doing that.
Why?
What do you mean,
Why?
why?
When they can
Because they've
just
destroyed Star
when they
Wars,
can
for
get
starters.
just it agreed, but but when they can just reboot something and not put any original thought, that's easy money.
That they
Well,
destroyed Star Wars, and I mean, like, literally ran it into the ground. And there's another example. Instead of like coming up with original concepts set in the Star Wars universe, they just keep using the old characters and the old storylines, and it's just horrible. And the Mandalorian, the only IP they came up with that was any good, ruined itself with a shitty third season that nobody asked for. The story was wrapped up at the end of season 2. They didn't need to make a third one. It just pisses me off so much.
I feel like you
I've
have
never
strong feelings on this, Richard.
They have immensely strong.
There is a lot of crap in the since Disney bought Star Wars. There has certainly been a lot of crap. I mean, the lack of cohesion in the new trilogy was absolutely inexcusable.
Oh god, yeah, and the continuity errors.
It was painful. Most Star Wars fans despise The Last Jedi. It's my favorite of that trilogy by far.
Of course it is. Of course, that just cements the fact that you are just an attention seeker. All right.
No, it does not.
That's it. That's it. You are just an attention seeker.
I'm
all right.
allowed to-
You've smashed coconuts on the side of buildings, and you thought The Last Jedi was a decent movie. You are just an attention seeker.
Well, maybe not a decent movie, but it was the least worst. It was the least worst.
No, it's what? It was by far the worst. It was by far and away the worst of the new movies.
I'm going to take you.
The best one is what's it called? The first one.
Yeah, The Force Awakens.
That was the best one and the only reason that was good was they ripped off A New Hope. It was exactly the same movie as A New Hope, and that's the only reason it was any good. The rest of them
changed your tune. 10 minutes ago, you were lamenting the reboots and
ineffective. Whoa! Being the best one of the new trilogy is like being the tallest midget. All right, it's nothing to be proud of.
Yeah, it's faint praise.
It's like
good on you guys for actually watching Star Wars after the original trilogy.
This piece of shit is slightly less stinky and disgusting than the other pieces of shit.
Once I saw episode 1, I was like, I'm out.
No,
what, the Phantom Menace.
Well, the Phantom Menace was made to look a whole lot better by episode 3.
Yeah, the new trilogy has made the prequels.
It doesn't matter. I only watched the original trilogy.
It's like being the prettiest Denny's waitress. That's cold, Gabby, but not untrue.
The prettiest what?
Denny's waitress.
Talking about a reboot that's coming up where the franchise has killed itself and the continuation errors or continuity errors are an issue. Highlander. We have a new Highlander movie coming up.
That's not even the worst reboot they're doing.
I know, but my thing, okay, I'm really excited about it.
We've got Shrek 5 and Toy Story 5
listen, but with Shrek and Toy Story, you're gonna cry.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're going to cry with relief when the credits roll.
Those movies I really like Toy Story 2, 3, and 4. Like, I like all of them.
I like Story.
I like all the Shreks. Ha ha ha. I like all of the Shrek movies as well. Like, they haven't made a bad one. I'm not really afraid of them messing up a new Shrek or Toy Story movie. And that's not a reboot. It's it's another sequel.
Exactly.
Richard, when you
Hashtag
post
Stoy Tory.
when you post
Story
this,
Tory.
when you post this, Stoy Tory has got to be the title
Story
for this.
Tory.
Yeah, I'm doing it right now. I'm editing the title.
I
So,
dislike you guys.
Story
Story
podcast.
Tory.
Stoy Tory. Well, a Tory, you know what a Tory is over here, Nikki? A Tory is our Republicans. You know, our grand old party. That's the Tories.
Oh.
Stoy. I mean, is Stoy a word? Where's Carol Vorderman when you need her?
really old.
But I don't think Stoy is a word. If it is, that'll be really funny, and we'll see what it means.
Okay, so I updated the title.
It is a word.
I called it Stoy Tory, and the description is: this week Richard educates Tom on why his opinion is wrong about movies.
Okay, a platform Stoy. Apparently, it's a website.
There you go. It's not complete nonsense.
It's a name more than anything.
Whatever. I don't have a leg in this horse, so.
Yeah, Stoy is just it's a name and it's a website. It's not a proper word. All right. No. Okay. Right. Star Wars. Okay. Star Wars. Let me say my piece on this one. What episodes 1, 2, and 3 had their faults, but at least they had a cohesive overall narrative, at least relatively speaking. I mean, the Palpatine's path to power was chronicled, very, very well by George Lucas. That's the one thing he absolutely nailed in these films, which, look far better in recent years. The problem with 7, 8, and 9 was, first of all, J.J. Abrams with Episode 7, The Force Awakens, was, for better or for worse, and in my opinion it was for worse, was determined to give fans exactly what they wanted. So he basically, in all but name, rebooted the first Star Wars film. It's almost exactly
No. He verbatim, brick by brick, ripped off A New Hope to make The Force Awakens. Exactly the same movie.
Yeah.
Crash landing on a desert planet, escape on the Millennium Falcon with a droid, learn a little about the Force, destroy a big space station. It was exactly the same movie.
Yeah, it was. It really was. And so a lot of people didn't mind that. Personally, I did. And so I was really looking forward to Episode 8 with to see if it was a bit more original. Now, what I didn't know was that the backstory and behind the scenes and, reading about it, I don't know quite why, but J.J. Abrams, who wrote the first one and had an overall idea for the trilogy, was decided to go and do something else. And we're always doing something else. And when Disney came calling, he said, I can't do this right now. And rather than do the sensible thing, which was ignore the wallet. So maybe it was they were under pressure from shareholders. I don't know. Maybe that's the reason. But they chose not to wait. They got this guy Rian Johnson, who has done some very, very good things. Not least the Knives Out film. And they got him to do it, and he said, "I'm just going to totally do my own thing." And he did this story, which really, really divided fans. I mean, I didn't mind it, but I'm in the minority. He did this story where Luke Skywalker is this grisly, miserable hermit for 99% of the film. The main villain of the entire trilogy dies 3/4 of the way through the second film of the trilogy, which is just a massive curveball. And there's a subplot that makes no sense and has no consequences whatsoever, where half the characters run off to go to some casino to get some locks, some secret, some expert Star Wars equivalent of a locksmith, basically a computer hacker or something that can bust into some. I can't even remember.
It's just garbage. It was all garbage.
But what was really, really good, what worked for me. I mean, and also there's this nonsensical chase scene. Most of the film is this chase at sub-light speed where for some reason Imperial torpedoes lose their effectiveness and suddenly go from being really powerful killer missiles to plastic bullets once they hit a certain range, and so they even though the missiles are hitting them, they're not effective. It doesn't make any sense. It doesn't work. But what does work are the character arcs, and for me, the character arcs of Rey and Kylo Ren. I mean, Adam Driver does his very, very best with not an awful lot to work with.
Stop defending it. Just stop defending it. It's terrible.
And therefore, because of the strength of the character arcs and the script, I don't actually mind The Force Awakens. I don't mind it. No, not The Force, The Last Jedi. But then the fan backlash was so strong. They went back to J.J. Abrams and they said, look, can you clean this up in the last episode, even though your main villain has been killed off? Much against your wishes by the person we got to do your job while you weren't around. Please, can you try and clean this up? And he did his best, but it was a shambles. And he made one of the worst Star Wars films ever made in The Rise of Skywalker, which just, I think I've rewatched it once. But it's so overall, you've got an incredibly incoherent, dismal, money-grabbing
pile of wank,
pile of rubbish, disgrace to the name. And then they've done loads of these these little stories, haven't they? Well, the series, these series. I mean, The Mandalorian. I haven't actually watched. I should do. I'm watching.
Just don't watch the third season. Andor's pretty good.
Andor, I'm about halfway through, and I'm rather enjoying it. It's working out for me. That is Andor. Yeah,
it's good. The first 2 seasons of Mandalorian are good. First few seasons of Clone Wars are good. And then they'll ruin it. They always ruin it. Anyway, talking about rebooted garbage. On February 3rd, they announced officially they were rebooting Buffy the Vampire Slayer, and Sarah Michelle Gellar was coming back for it.
I don't like it.
And the fan backlash was so severe that Sarah Michelle Gellar herself had to come out and defend it, saying she would make sure that it would stay true to the original premise. And the fans responded with a resolute, "We don't believe you."
Yeah, basically. Don't reboot it. Not with her coming back. Okay, first of all, she doesn't... Okay, fans of Buffy the Vampire Slayer know that if they're going to go to a con or do something, they're going to see literally every other cast member but Sarah Michelle Gellar. She hates the fan base. She hates them. She's made it very clear that she's better than the fan base, and they don't want her. Why would we want someone to be the Slayer or in something that we love when they obviously never cared about or liked the fact that they were in it to begin with? Like, for me, Sarah Michelle Gellar isn't bankable anymore and she can't really get jobs. So this is like, she's settling.
Well, that was going to be my next point. Apart from Cruel Intentions, what has she done?
Period. Nothing good. I mean, nothing bankable. She really... I think that her and Freddie Prinze Jr. just don't have money anymore. And she was like, oh, well, this made me a lot of money and people really liked me when I did this. Let me do this again. Well, first, we know that you didn't like it. We know that you didn't like us. You didn't want anything to do with us as fans. You thought that you were better than all of these scenes and all of this stuff. So I don't know. As a huge fan of Buffy, if you're going to reboot the series, give it a new cast.
Yeah. What completely new cast.
Change it completely. Like, we don't need the librarian per se. Give us a different watcher.
We definitely don't need
a different
Angel.
Situation. We don't need a high school. We don't have to have a boyfriend vampire.
We don't need Angel.
Definitely. Yeah, please don't give us Angel. No one wants
Don't want Angel. Can we just agree on that?
Well, the thing is I think David Boreanaz got himself canceled, didn't he? Like, quite some time ago. So I don't see David Boreanaz coming back.
Yeah, I don't like the character. I don't care.
I don't like the character either.
I don't like the character.
Yeah, the character's awful. But what I'm saying is like the movie can be viewed differently as the show. You should make the new reboot to be able to be viewed differently as the original show.
Yeah,
Give
if you're
us
going to
something
reboot it,
else.
you build off the movie's lore, where they don't turn to ash, where you stab them in the heart with a stake and they can fly and shit. Build it off the movie's. Well, I guess the movie was just a shitty remake of fucking Salem's Lot. Thinking about it, but like
The movie was great though.
it was
The bad
great.
guy was great. The bad
Yeah,
guys, plural, were great. You could do so much with it instead of it being a creature of the week kind of
definitely.
situation. But even with the creature of the week, you could do something other than what has already been done before. Because I mean, Supernatural showed that you can just, when you have a show like that, you can go off your tits with ideas. They can just keep coming. And the world allows for it to be as ridiculous as you want it to be.
We definitely want Spike back though.
Yeah, we all want Spike back. And I think that with the right filters and makeup that James could come back if he wanted to as Spike, but they could just recast him
They
or
could
have a
recast.
Spike-esque character because
I'm-
Nicholas Brendan probably isn't going to come back. I mean,
I
he
thought
is
he's dead, isn't he? Isn't he dead?
did he die? I thought he's just a severe alcoholic. Did Nicholas Brendan die? I'm going to Google it right now.
Yeah, I'm doing it now.
I was never the biggest fan of Buffy. I never really got into it. I don't know much. I don't know
No,
much
he's
about
still
it.
alive.
I was.
You-
One of my exes and I were gonna watch it, but then she just binged watched it with her housemate without me, and so I just I haven't. Therefore, I just haven't had a chance to see it and haven't
was
seen it.
pretty much my childhood, Buffy the Vampire Slayer.
Uh-huh.
That and Malcolm in the Middle were the two shows I watched the most of.
Okay.
I
I
actually
was
didn't watch Breaking Bad for the longest time because it was really badly explained to me because of Malcolm in the Middle.
Oh, Breaking Bad is
I haven't finished
very,
it yet.
very
I'm
over the
almost
top,
done.
but it's undeniably incredibly entertaining.
It's such a good show.
It's
Yeah.
fucking awesome. And so is Better Call Saul.
Yeah.
I haven't tried Better Call Saul. I just never got around to it. Never made it to the top of the list.
I've seen like 2 or 3 episodes and I'm like, whatever.
It's meant to be very good, but I didn't get that far with it. But no, some I mean, Breaking Bad just leaves some indelible memories. I mean, the one where they raid that train. I mean, it's so far-fetched, but you can't help but just buy into it. The one where they raid that train and drain all that stuff out the bottom of the tank.
Methylamine.
Yeah, on the train. The whole angle with Gus was just so tense and so gripping. I mean, the writers just knew how to write edge of your seat television with that stuff. They really did.
Didn't Veronica Mars already get a reboot and it just fail after one season?
It did.
Yeah, no, you're not kidding about Joss Whedon. You know, he wasn't allowed to be alone with Michelle Trachtenberg on set. Which
Yeah,
someone should, if that's the situation you're in, then just arrest him, you know?
right. Yeah, he wasn't allowed to be. So I'm wondering, like, because Marty Noxon, first of all, if you've watched the musical one, she's the lady that's singing about the parking ticket. But she's the one that took over directing and producing Buffy after Joss took off to go do Angel and Dollhouse and all the others. So I mean, like, she would be, but I don't think that Joss would get. I don't think Josh is bankable anymore as a person.
No,
I don't think that. I mean, it is his idea. But I bet you he wouldn't be able to have really any part outside of writing. He would be stuck in the writing room, maybe or in
Bring him
production,
on
but he's
set.
not going to be able to like be on set, especially if you're going to have high schoolers.
Bring him on set in with that Hannibal Lecter strap-on thing with the mask and everything.
Right? Joss, don't be creepy.
Hello, girls. All right, get him out of here.
What did this guy do? This is the guy who made Firefly, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
What did he do?
I don't think I don't know, but they wouldn't let him be alone
He was
on set with young
apparently,
girls.
yeah, and he was apparently kind of a creeper to the women that were on the set. He's very sexist. Like the girl that played Willow's girlfriend, she
R.I.P.
she almost didn't get the part because she wasn't skinny enough or pretty enough, and Joss wasn't gonna hire her. And Marty Noxon looked at him and said, "No, she's who we need. She's Tara. Nobody else can play Tara. You know, you're fucked up for thinking that way." But apparently, he was abusive to his wife as well. There's like a bunch of different allegations against him that just show that he's not a good guy.
Oh.
It's using Buffy as an example, for instance, it's very obvious if you watch season 1 when Sarah either gets an agent or starts standing up for herself because her wardrobe changes drastically.
Very different. She goes from wearing very slutty clothes to not.
Modest. Yeah.
And she goes from like, he wanted to really amp up the sex scenes and stuff, and she wouldn't allow for that either.
Yep.
Well, this is yeah, the bad old days, isn't it? Before intimacy
What you mean?
coordinators and
What you
things
mean,
like
like
that.
you mean like today?
Yeah.
That's happening
It
right
still-
now.
Still
As we
goes
speak.
on. Yeah.
P. Diddy and all that stuff, you know.
Oh, God.
On a
Yeah.
set somewhere.
Yeah.
On a set somewhere.
Some
someone
things are meant to be getting better, but whether they really are or not,
I don't think so. I think that it's a systemic issue, especially in Hollywood. So
Oh, we can't
you know,
believe
I was kind of a thespian when I was younger. I'm glad my parents didn't allow me to like go for auditions at Nickelodeon when I wanted to, because I lived in Florida at the time. Prime
Yeah.
Nickelodeon time, and I was a little acting theater girl, so I'm very thankful.
Dan Schneider would have gone to town on you.
Probably.
Dan Schneider.
Dan Schneider or one of the many other. Have you not seen the documentary on Nickelodeon? And
No, actually, no, I haven't.
the pedophiles that were working within Nickelodeon and the things that they did. I would suggest you watch it. It's really good, and it's really
Important
sad.
Stuff to know. Important stuff to know, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
You. Oh.
Yeah, it explains why we have certain actors who are acting like they are. Amanda Bynes, you know, let's see, Miley Cyrus. She was part of Disney, I think, but same difference. It was the same stuff because they were going from Nickelodeon to Disney and vice versa. But yeah, there was those poor kids. So, yep. But during that time, like, you know, I wanted to act. I'm very, very thankful my parents were like, no, you're not going to do that.
Yeah.
The one good thing they did for me was protect me from the industry.
Yeah. Jeez. I wonder if your parents can protect me from my own cat.
Probably not. They're not very good at protecting anybody from anything. That just happens to be the good thing that they did in my life.
The reason I mentioned the cat is because we had to get the cats to the vet today to get them their I think it was an injection, and it was standard. These are 2 kittens, and one of them went. We've got these 2 boxes to carry cat carriers, and one of them one of our cats called Janelle went into the box perfectly happily, perfectly calmly, peacefully, no stress, no drama. The other one, not so. And we're feeding her endless tubes of catnip to get her all happy and calm and hopefully trust in us as if we weren't about to shove her into the box that we were about to shove her into. And then
Right.
we're chasing around the room. She's diving behind the sofa, under the chair, behind the DVDs, in the toy corner, under the curtain. I'm trying to get her and grab her, and then I managed to gently grab hold of her behind her, just sort of around the shoulders as you do, and I'm carrying her. And as soon as I get to the box, it's digging in the claws. I didn't handle that the best. I kind of just sort of yelped and dropped her, and so we ended up only taking one of them. Yeah. So very difficult. And I've got to go through the same again on Monday because we've got to take them because they're both being neutered. So tomorrow I'm going to go to the garden centre and buy some hardcore, mega expensive cat-proof gardening gloves and try and do it with them on, which I don't like having to do it at all. It's horrible putting your cat through this stress, but you've got to do it. You've got no choice. And they've got to have their microchips put in them, which is a legal requirement. So I really, really, really have no choice. But it's not fun. It's not enjoyable. It's horrible to have to do. Horrible for the cat. Horrible for me. Horrible for Hannah to have to sit and watch this debacle play out. Yeah. So, we asked the vet for advice. And it's a cliche, but we kind of felt we'd done everything because last time I tried to put a spot-on flea mixture on the back of her neck, and we got a they got the claws out when they were putting this we're trying to put the flea stuff on the back of the neck. So, ow. Right, sorry, guys. I'll be back in just 1 second. I've just got to get something for my dear missus. 1 second.
God, I never thought he'd shut up about his bloody cat. What's the equivalent of a mad cat lady?
Me?
You're not a mad cat lady.
I totally would be if I had half the chance.
If you didn't have a smoking hot boyfriend, you would.
Yeah. It's true.
Yeah. You got to be single to be a mad cat lady.
It's true.
Anywho.
I'm not a mad cat lady. I'm just a cat lady.
Yeah, you're just cat lady.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, it's totally fine. Yeah. You know that cats get brain zombies in their doo-doo. Yeah, it's a, fungal infection they can have. Perth seems to think you're mad too. No.
See? Yeah.
It don't work like that, Perth. Nikki is just a cat lady. She can't be a mad cat lady unless she's single and has frizzy hair.
Hi, sorry, I'm back. I just needed to pass a laptop to my wife. That's all. Oh, so
you had to pass a lamb laptop to your wife.
No, a laptop, not a lamb laptop. Sorry, just getting my words in a muddle.
That's all right. You were going on about your cats, and I was glad you stopped. Well,
I was getting really distracted by Hannah trying to call me through the door while I was in mid-flow, so it was a bit tricky. That's why I was umming and ahhing and fluffing my words all over the place. Very distracted.
As opposed to how you normally are, I mean.
Yeah, it was even worse than normal. Even worse, if that was possible, which it was.
Oh, brilliant. Absolutely brilliant. Yeah, crazy cat lady, Gabby. Mad cat lady.
Gabby would make a great crazy cat lady. If she wasn't already.
Snap. I think Gabby isn't single, so you've got to be single to be a mad cat lady. Perth could be a good cat lady, mad cat lady.
I don't
Except
think
she's
so.
except she's got bunnies, which
I
is
was about to
even
say
worse.
she's more of a mad bunny lady.
Which is just insanity.
No, bunnies are adorable.
Bunnies are not adorable. Bunnies are from the devil and should all be destroyed.
I love bunnies.
Rabbits
They're
are
so
great.
Yum.
Oh, I had a friend who used to live in the a lovely house just outside of Canterbury, and he had these. I went to his house and driving through this country lane, it was like in the middle of nowhere. It's like whoa, and then there's this field right by him, and it had these rabbits running all over it. It was glorious. They were great.
No, they're not great. They're evil. They should all be destroyed.
Oh, you meanie.
Them and moles.
Moles.
Yeah,
What's the
moles
problem
are
with
the worst.
moles?
Okay. Moles are evil. All right. Like, and I don't say this lightly, but I don't like pandas. Okay, I don't. I think a lot of money is wasted on them, but I don't think they're evil. Moles are evil.
They're just moles.
What's
They
up
are
with
not
moles?
just moles, okay? They deliberately dig their stupid tunnels throughout my garden, make it so I twist my ankle whenever I try and mow the lawn.
Oh
Mowing
yeah,
the
they did
lawn
that on purpose.
is a nightmare because you have to go up and down, up and down, up and down, up and down. You know, they are just the worst. The worst. Are the worst. And I don't hate everything adorable purrs. I love ferrets. I love Tasmanian devils. I like bush dogs. They're adorable.
Do you find though? Do moles cause you a lot of problems at work? Well, you know, when you're doing your work, your landscape gardening and things like that.
Yeah, they suck. That's what I was just talking about. Mowing
But
lawns and stuff.
don't they give you? Don't they make work for you and therefore help you earn money?
No, they damage equipment and they dig stupid bloody molehills everywhere. And then they most insufferably of all, they are fucking adorable to look at. So when I catch them, I don't have it in me to snap their little necks. So I put them in a bucket and take them somewhere else.
Oh, good. Wow. How do you end up like hold that? Yeah, you catch a mole. I mean, I've never
It's
seen one.
not easy. It's not easy to catch a mole. I'm not going to lie. Basically, you need a big molehill, and then you have to wait for the third time they push it up because then they're inside the molehill, and then you knock it over with a spade, and you'll usually catch them. Or
Okay.
if you know which direction they're digging from, you can take the spade directly down into their tunnel, and they'll run into the spade, and you can hear them bonk into it, and then you're like, "Ha, dumb mole." You can
Okay, so
also make these traps out of like a cylinder. You put an earthworm inside of it, and like a spring on each side.
yeah.
It's possible. It's not easy, but
What
I
is
fucking
what is the point of a molehill? What are molehills all about?
what a molehill! It's their spoil heaps. They dig their tunnels and they put the dirt on top of the surface.
Oh, I see. Okay. Oh, so
Moles
that's what
have pretty sophisticated tunnel networks. They've got larders and everything.
Oh, like Fantastic Mr. Fox, but for real and with moles.
What? Yes, completely different, but yes, like what?
Oh, I like that. I like the idea of moles now. I think they sound cool.
Oh,
They're
falling for
adorable.
mole
I've had
propaganda.
many a stray leave moles by my door.
Oh.
Yeah, cats like to bring them as gifts, and I always appreciate it.
Oh, aren't they dead when they do that?
Oh yeah, absolutely.
I approve. The only good mole is a dead mole. My Esme, bless her cotton little socks, when she was still alive, she could go down into a mole tunnel and kill them.
Who? Is that a cat?
No, ferret.
Ah.
She was a
Ferrets hug
violent.
bubbles, do they?
Not right. Not usually, but Esme was a trier. She was really good at killing bunnies, though. Ah, bless her little socks. I remember one spring she ran down this rabbit warren, and I could hear the screaming of rabbits dying, and I looked down, and there was a mama rabbit kicking Esme as Esme was nonchalantly murdering her children, and then Esme just looked at the mama, grabbed her by the throat, and those were the days. She was frankly insane, but, adorable.
Oh. So, in different stuff, I took my youngest on a walk by the sea today, and we went into a lovely
That's
trip
the
into
shit
town.
one, isn't it?
What do you mean the shit one? The shit what?
You've got two kids, the shit one and the good one.
They're not
The
shit.
older-
That's a lie.
The
Why
eldest
are you
one's
so
the shit one.
mean?
He's actually
That's
been on
not-
really good form lately. He had the cheek to bundle into, I don't know who it was, somebody at school, and said, "Miss, I haven't had any behaviour points for 3 months. Can I have a chocolate bar or something, please?" Because he was hungry at school and felt he had the right to demand that. But the teacher saw the funny side. But but one of the cats is mewing like hell. I have no idea why.
Cats, when cats meow, it means come hither, slave.
Yeah,
Well,
basically.
they're
I want
stood by
food, slave, or get me some water, slave.
they've been fed half an hour ago. I don't know what their problem is. Anyway, so yeah, took a little wander into town. Got I got myself yet another Rubik's type puzzle. This one was called the Scube Extreme. I was very pleased to find that because I've been looking out for it. Just scrolling through ones on Amazon and eBay, looking at ones I didn't have, and this one really caught my attention. I thought, oh yeah, I like that. I think that'll be a lovely next step challenge for me. So I grabbed that. No, I went down to town. Very pleased to find it in a local shop and spend some money in the local high street rather than ordering it from Amazon, which is far too easy to do. And grabbed that. Went into my favourite record shop, grabbed a couple of rock albums from the early 90s. Got Adrenalized by Def Leppard and Flesh and Blood by Poison, which was their third album. One I've never heard, but I can now. So, yeah, I've always really, really liked that. It's really sad, tragic, but I've been looking forward to it most of the week. Thought, yeah, I just want to go and find a parking spot at the top of the hill, walk down it with Reese, waddle into town. There's a nice high wall that he likes to walk on. Wander into town. Found what I wanted. The only downside was the little cafe that we like to stop at on the way back and have a cup of tea and a tea cake and a juice or whatever Reese wants. And that was closed. And then what are you doing being closed 4:30 on a Saturday? What's your problem? I don't know why they were decided to close up early, which was annoying and a pain. But otherwise, lovely little saunter into town today with our youngest, the good one, as Richard likes to describe him as.
Yeah, that's how I remember your kids. What does the extreme Rubik's Cube do? Electrocute you if you don't do it in a certain amount of time.
That'd be a good idea. No, it's I can show you it here. I'll just put the camera on for a moment. Here we are. It's called the
What the hell is that?
Well, it's called it's called the. It doesn't move like a Rubik's cube, like a 3x3x3 at all. It moves on these sort of diagonal axes. In these.
I don't like the diagonal ones. The diagonal ones are too easy.
It's not too easy. It's not too easy.
The diagonal ones are a piece of cake compared to the ones that move lengthways and horizontally. Because there's only certain moves you can do with them.
Well, I don't know. It took I mean, I have mixed it up and solved it, but the only reason I can do that is because I already know what I'm doing with a scube and a twisty scube. But this one is a step up from both of those.
I don't
It's
think
sold.
you can
It's
say
in its
skew.
sold state at the moment, but it's not easy. I mean, I've got this one. I am absolutely. I've shown you this before, surely.
This is my fault. This is your fault, Richard.
Maltese gear cube. This is just
That's
vicious.
cool.
This is evil. I haven't a clue what I'm doing with this.
How would you even?
How? Well, you have to. The algorithms, the steps for solving it that I found online are so long and so convoluted. It's a really, really not fun puzzle. I'm nowhere near solving this thing. This thing has got me absolutely stuck. It's a work of twisted genius. I mean, the way it moves is a thing of beauty with these twisting gears, but it's so horribly hard.
Child of your sex tape.
It's even see-through. You've got this little hang on. There we are. Yeah. You see what this is brilliant, huh? Yeah.
Ooh, we have a tornado watch. Oh, I'm sorry, a tornado warning.
Try not to die.
Yeah, take shelter in place or per instructions.
When I lived in Colorado, the tornado warning would always go off at like 2:00 in the morning. And just, I'd get Erica and Madison into the shelter, and Madison would always say, "What about the cats?" And I'd be like, "Oh, the cats can look after themselves," but she'd make me run up and grab them and bring them back down again.
Yeah.
And then the all clear siren would sound, and I'd be, "Well, it's lucky there wasn't one, or I'd be dead." Are you getting any snow? I don't think they get much snow in Tennessee.
We'll be getting snow on Wednesday.
Ooh, Wednesday.
It'll be our second snow of the year.
That's middle of late February. That's pretty late in the year for snow, isn't it?
No. So Memphis and Tennessee in general is pretty bipolar. The South in general is pretty bipolar. So, we'll get snow in January or so, and then it will be fake spring for a few weeks. And then we go right back into having snow again. We don't get a lot of snow, but we do get it.
Oh, wow. It's that's impressive. We snow is one of those things that's diminished more and more and more over my lifetime.
Mm-hmm.
I've got a friend who believes that climate change is at best a massively exaggerated thing, which is just used by extremists to make us feel terrible when we don't need to feel terrible, and make us feel terrified when we don't need to feel terrified. We've had definitely had diminished snow at Christmases throughout mine and my friend's lifetime so far. So I remember it used to be every Christmas in the 1980s. Every winter you could pretty much guarantee there'd be snow. Since then, not so much. A lot of kids, when we had that beast from the east in the mid 2010s, that was a lot of their first experience of snow. First time they'd seen it in this country. For a lot of kids at school. Yeah. You still there, Richard?
I am. I was listening to you. I thought you were going to go on for more.
Well, no, not really. Just I've got a friend who believes.
I have tornado sirens going off. I will talk to you guys later.
Okay, Nikki. Take care. Tornado sirens going off.
Yeah, they have warnings. It's like a
Air raid or something. Wow.
yeah,
That's
pretty much. I was saying when I lived in Colorado, we had them. They always went off at 2 o'clock in the morning. You could always tell when a tornado was coming as well because you'd have hail and all sorts,
right.
and
So
then you
wait,
get the cloud fingers pointing down.
and do they did you how frequent were they and how severe?
We never had one touchdown in town. We had one touchdown in the plains near the town, but it didn't come into town. It just flew away. But it wasn't like a really powerful one.
Yeah. So yeah, I haven't. I mean, most of what I know from tornadoes is kind of from myth and the stupid Twister film and its sequel.
I mean, that's basically what they do. The tornado warnings go off. They go out in their little cars and chuck cans of Coke at them.
They throw cans of Coke at them.
Like the movie.
What, tornado spotters?
Yeah.
Okay. What exactly is the point of all that? Why does chucking cans of Coke at tornadoes?
I thought you said you'd seen the movie.
I've seen the first one. I didn't. I remember them throwing things into them, but they were like beacons, weren't they? They were sort of.
They were beacons that they put cans of Coke around the top of, in one of the most blatant attempts at product placement I've ever seen in a film.
That fits. That's as worthy an explanation as we're ever going to get for why you throw a can of Coke into a tornado.
Well, the logic was that they acted as little propellers, so the beacons would all go up into the air, and it worked in the movie. But just put Coca-Cola on the side of the truck. Don't know why you have to.
Product placement. That's I remember the first film I saw that was loaded with product placement was Back to the Future 2, because everyone was desperate to prove that they were very, very going to be very, very important 30 years from now. Like the Black and Decker
50.
Turbo Chef or whatever it was called that cooks a pizza from the size of a 2p coin to a fully grown 14-inch sizzling Whopper in 5 seconds flat.
There's another terrible sequel.
I don't mind Back to the Future 2. I can get on okay with that one. The alternate 1985, the world according to Biff Tannen. Okay, start talking, kid. What else you know about that book? I can buy into that film. Third one, not so much.
I like the third one better because it didn't go over. The second one was basically the first one again, and the third one was something different.
Yeah, the second one is ridiculously over the top, and it doesn't stand up to scrutiny. You know, them trying to make sure that the events of the first one still go ahead. Just dropping sandbags on the guy backstage. It's very, very daft, but I got on with it. Okay, got a couple of Hot Wheels cars of the Back to the Future car and the second one, the flying one. Yeah, it works for me.
If they made Back to the Future now, do you think they'd do it with a Cybertruck?
Oh, God, no. Oh, please, no.
Because I reckon the Cybertruck is the DeLorean of our generation.
It wouldn't surprise. Yes, there's certain analogies there. Except it looks far, far terrible. At least the DeLorean DMC-12 or whatever it was called had those gull-wing doors that were actually rather cool. The Cybertruck, what's cool about a Cybertruck?
I have no earthly idea, Tom. It looks like an ugly piece of trash to me, but apparently people like it.
I mean, do these things, does it cost a fortune? Do Tesla cars cost an absolute fortune?
Well, Cybertrucks do, because they keep breaking down every 5 minutes.
I mean, didn't Elon Musk, when he first revealed them, said, "Look how tough it is," threw something at the window, which promptly went straight through it.
Yes.
Yeah. Well, it's I mean, also, I'm not I mean, I'm a massive advocate for stemming climate change, but I'm not convinced that electric cars are going to do it, because unless
they do a lot of damage to the environment. Electric cars, not their emissions, but the nickel and cobalt that is mined for their batteries
or the
and their
lithium,
car and the
those
lithium.
lithium batteries that catch fire on cargo ships. I mean,
Yeah, they do a lot of damage to the environment as well. So I'm not sure. I'm sure emissions wise, they're a lot better than petrol cars, but like the mining and everything. Incidentally, electric cars is one of the reasons why pandas are in trouble, because their mines are destroying their habitat. So maybe I should be in
there you
favor
go.
of electric cars.
Exactly. And the carbon footprint to build one is, I mean, I dread to think a Cybertruck would probably have to go for sort of 500,000 miles before it would, or something like that.
It's fake. It's fake environmentalism, like avocados, and it annoys me.
I would worry that you're right. And besides, if all the electricity to charge them up with, if that hasn't come from renewable sources like wind farms and stuff, then what the hell is the point in the first place?
Yeah, I mean, that's the opposite. Most of our electricity still comes from fossil fuels, so
I think in Britain we're not doing too badly. I mean, more and more of our, from what I know, more and more of our net, the national grid is powered by wind farms and fossil fuels. I think it's just over 50% at this point. I'm not sure, but I watched an interesting debate a week ago about whether we're not going to get into this now with 3 minutes to go, but I watched an interesting debate titled "Has woke culture gone too far?" And one of the blokes who maintained that it has said that with climate change, has anyone stopped to think that actually Great Britain accounts for 2% of the world's carbon outputs? I mean, the battle for climate change is going to be decided in the economies of Asia and Latin America, and whether or not they can find cheap, sustainable, renewable energy sources, because if they keep doing fossil fuel, then anything we're going to be doing is going to be absolutely pointless.
I watched a video about how woke and racist people have a lot in common.
Well, should we pick this up next week? This would be a really interesting topic for next week.
Yeah, it would. Oh yeah, we're at the end of the night, aren't we? Oh, yeah. That went by really quickly. That was a good show, though. Okay, chat. Before I forget, friend of the show, Chris York, has started another YouTube channel, AI Lovecraft.
Okay.
I'm going to put the link in the description of this video. Go and give it a good look. It's pretty good stuff. I'm a fan of the film noir genre, and it's very film noir-esque.
Okay. Film. I think the best film noir. I'm not an expert on film noir at all. I've hardly got any. I did like the film noir style that the first Sin City film was done in. I like that. I like that aesthetic, but I'm not at all familiar with the original, any originals or classics. I don't know what I'm talking about there. Should we call it a night, Richard?
Yeah. I was just shoving the thing in the description.
Okay.
Because while I remember, I had forgot. I was going to bring it up earlier in the show, but I forgot because we were arguing about how wrong you were about The Last Jedi.
Okay. Well, been a pleasure, Richard. Take care. We'll talk to you next week, bud. And see you next week, everybody.
That'll wrap us up for this week. We will return next week, despite the hopes of many. It's good night from me, and it's good night from him. Good night, everyone.
Good night, everybody. Cheers.